indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If everybody could please remain standing. I'd like to call a moment of silence for Dominic Filippo and Pastor Linda Bellows. Thank you. So you can do roll call.
Yeah. Councilwoman Burrell.
Here.
Councilwoman Kidney. President. Supervisor Santavada.
Here.
Councilman Magley.
Present. And okay, I have some business that's not on the agenda that I wanted to take everybody by surprise with, including maybe somebody that's in this room. I have a proclamation. Whereas more children lost to cancer in the US than any other disease, in fact, more than many other childhood diseases combined. Whereas before they turn 20, about 1 in 263 children in the US will have cancer. Whereas worldwide, a child is diagnosed every 2 minutes. Whereas Lou Monteleone has brought the Eldred Line of Hope to our community to benefit St. Baldrick's Foundation for the past 20 years. Whereas there are heroes among us. Whereas Lou Monteleone and his family have raised more than $200,000 to benefit the St. Baldrick's Foundation. From henceforth, let us proclaim the first Sunday of September, Lou Monteleone Day in the town of Highland. And I know you love attention so much. Sorry to call you out. What happened to your head? You tell me. Oh, thank you very much. We have some special guests here today. We have the Honorable Assemblywoman Paula Kay, who will be talking to us about some really exciting news that she's providing and pledging to our community. But first off, we have a special guest, Rich Miller, who's going to do a presentation about the reestablishment or potential reestablishment of the constabulary. Rich, if you want to take the podium, and just for the record, we were able to successfully get a referendum on the ballot for this. All of the community will have the opportunity to weigh in and vote on if they would like to reestablish the constabulary, and Rich is going to give us a little insight on how to do that. Do you mind taking the podium?
No, not at all.
All right.
I'm gonna keep this very, very informal. I think I will do that, so I will apologize. I know if you guys, first, who am I? I've got 37 years of law experience starting in New York City. For the last 15 years, I've run as chief constable a police constabulary in Ulster County. And we've been 100% successful with that program, although at this point, due to political changes, they're not interested in helping. And we'll leave it at that. So, a police constabulary is a local law enforcement agency. They're there, they should be there to help local people with local problems. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember Andy and Mayberry, but that's what we're going for. You call, you have a problem with your neighbor, we'll come and fix it. Doesn't need to escalate, doesn't need to do anything egregious, we'll fix your problem. That's the bread and butter. Then you have basic problems with traffic management and low-level crimes in parks and people trespassing and things like that. The police constabulary is there to fix those problems. So in order to reestablish something like that, you need to dot the i's and cross the t's and do it all properly. It doesn't need to cost you beyond money. There's plenty of grants out there, which I've been successful in getting over the years, many times. Equipment doesn't need, you don't need to spend $70,000 on a car. You can go, the last car I got was a 39,000 mile 2014 Impala. We got about 6 years ago, and it cost us $1,800 with everything in it from the federal government. So I'm really good at procurement. Then I heard a lot from the fire department and EMS. There are universal first responder grants out there. If we all apply together, you're talking about millions of dollars in equipment as well as cash money for various purposes. So to unify first responders like that is always a goal. No one's in a rush to do this. We're gonna explore what it takes to make it happen. I've written up, and I'm sure you guys are welcome to copies of it. A summary with a timeline, steps that need to be taken. This is not gonna be tomorrow. It's going to take a little while. There has to be a control guide put together. There has to be duties and responsibilities put together. There has to be personnel. There's an immense amount of training. As far as money goes, I do in my town, I do training for 146 agencies statewide. I'm a New York State instructor for every discipline except one, PT, because I don't really want to do push-ups. That's not my idea. But I do 5 peace officer academies a year, and they bring in between $20,000 and $67,000 each class. And that would of course go to the general fund and be distributed accordingly. So in my town, for the last 15 years, I've never spent a nickel of taxpayer money at all to run the police constabulary. We, at our peak, we had all part-time, no benefits, and some of them are immensely qualified. And I hope to bring something similar here and draw from the immense amount of experience I have right in front of me. That would be really nice to have, but it's local law enforcement for local people. I don't know if you guys are following Robert's Rules of Order, but I would love to open it up for questions because people always have questions and I'm happy to answer anything. Transparency is number one. All our budgets, everything will be exposed. Whatever you guys want to know, what you want the goals of the police constabulary to be, what you don't want people to do, we're gonna make that happen, or we're gonna do our very best to try. So anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes. The constabulary are armed.
Yes,
What is the liability that the town might face should there be a shooting?
under criminal procedure law 2.1, 2.20, and 2.30, we have qualified immunity as long as training is met. So every year, well, if you're already a police officer or a peace officer, you already have qualified immunity. You need to maintain that each year with an annual weapons requalification, which I can give. I teach that. In fact, I just did one for Uniondale, which is across the river. If something like that happens, that's a use of force case, and as long as you're acting within good faith, inside your duties and responsibilities, then there is no liability for the town. In addition to that, I always recommend getting a police professional package. The one we have for our town costs us $1,900 a year and will cover any overages or any lawsuits that arise from a use of force.
In today's environment, people can sue for no reason.
Yes, sir.
Given a shooting, there could be a very good reason. So I take that response with limited, shall I say, limited acceptance, because I think there's more to it than you just said.
Oh, no, it really isn't. In any kind, first of all, we don't shoot. That's really not the goal. A use of force is, in my personal opinion, a failure of law enforcement. If you've been out there and you've diffused the situation properly, which I spent my whole career doing, you should never need to use force, or if you have to, it's going to be a very limited amount. New York State just put new use of force rules into place. I'm an instructor for that as well. And we go through use of force forms that have to be filled out, and there's very, very specific guidelines and limitations for that particular discipline. And if they're followed properly, and we make sure they are, then there is no liability. I mean, you're right, people can sue for anything, but they also have to win.
But there's a cost to defend yourself.
That would be covered by the insurance.
We looked into just roughly the NYMER policy is around a $2,000 a year policy.
Yeah.
For the complete, what is the name of the program? The NYMER, it's like the
Police professional.
the police professional program is around $2,000, and it's like NYMER in general is for small municipalities of our size. And so they offer these like sort of quantified packages for constabularies because they're so cost effective and they work in tandem with the other departments.
Thank
So
you for your response.
Not a problem.
Jeez.
Anyone else? Okay.
Then you've done some training sessions with members of our community already, correct?
I have been an instructor for, well, going on 30 years now. So I've definitely done training with Port Jervis, without a doubt. I was out, I believe it was a TASER restart for the instructors. with some of your guys. I've done, I mean, you name it, if there's a constabulary out there, I did Lumberland, a few guys for a while. Then they got their own instructor. I do, Tustin, I did their basic instruction 10 years ago, 7 years ago. There isn't a peace officer agency within the state that I haven't actually talked to at some point. I do write a lot of their policy for them. Many years ago now, when they switched from the rather small 35-hour training to 99-hour, now it's 278 hours, not including firearms. I wrote that curriculum for the state. So I get a lot of calls to write policy. So use of force policies, taser policies, arrest policy, all of that stuff. And I also do a lot of joint task force stuff. So you guys are in a location where you have state police and you also have the sheriff's department. We work hand in hand with them. We're not looking to take over their job. We're looking to alleviate the necessity for additional staffing. Every agency, every business will tell you now it's really hard to find more people to work. Very, very difficult. So if there are 2 cars out on the road for the entire southern end of Sullivan County, and we have an additional person, that person could be there a lot sooner. But if it's some kind of major crime, we would always call for backup and turn that over to the appropriate authorities.
I have a question.
Yes.
Our previous constabulary only worked minimal hours per week, mostly on the weekends. I believe maybe one day during the week. I could be wrong. So would the idea be, you said essentially everybody would be part-time. So would the idea be to have enough people on the force that somebody is always working?
Always the goal, without a doubt. The budget, for the numbers that I have seen in your previous budgets when there still was a constabulary, would lend itself to part-time significant coverage with enough people. Part-time, you need a deep pool because sometimes people can't work and you need to mix and match. But yes, the goal is to have people on call at the very least, if not on direct patrol. 85% of all law enforcement is present. If you drive around in a marked car and you take a random route every single day, so the bad guys don't know what, there might be a police car coming around the corner tomorrow. It's called the broken windows approach. It's worked really well for many, many, many years, and that's the goal, is to not let the bad guys know when somebody's there. So the concept of omnipresence.
Good, I may be wrong, so this will give you the opportunity to correct me. My understanding is that among the constables, there is no rank. My understanding is that even the chief constable does not have supervisory authority over the other constables. Am I correct or am I incorrect?
It all depends on how the agency is set up at the beginning. Civil service, you have DCJS, which is the Division of Criminal Justice Services, and then you have the New York State Civil Service, which of course leads to county civil service. County civil service typically has one title for constable, and they put everybody in that. However, DCJS requires a chief law enforcement officer for all agencies with an ORI and employer ID, because someone has to co-sign every single report. So if you have a motor vehicle accident, at the very bottom, it'll have supervisor, has to be signed. So while it's not at odds, there must be a chief law enforcement officer. You could create that position at the county level. There's many counties in New York State that have that title in there, but it's not a necessity to have a separate title. But you do need somebody who is supervising, otherwise it becomes very, very difficult to regulate rules, especially when you're talking about scale.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Would there be an expectation if we have constables that they would be equipped with both body cams and dash cams?
I would say I like cameras. First, you have to look at the cost of it. The cameras themselves tend to be relatively inexpensive. I'm really good at procurement. The problem is the storage of the data, because you'll generate massive amounts and they charge you a lot of money to store them. So if perhaps we could explore the option to store that, not use, say, Axon International, because the price would be almost the amount of the budget for the entire police constabulary. But I have no problem having body cameras or dash cams. I think they're wonderful. Port Jervis, we just had this conversation. They had body cams for quite a while. And all they found out was 99% of all civilian complaints were unfounded when watched as footage. So I welcome them, don't have a problem. I carry one on duty now, as do all my other officers.
The reason I ask is because one of your potential partner agencies up here has expressed a very clear opinion to me that they're opposed to it.
Oh. They might have their own specific reasons. I have nothing to hide.
Do you need, Joe, do you need one of the branches of like either the state police or the sheriff's deputies?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna one way with them.
We gotta give him a nice, sober, straight up conversation and such.
That's fine.
He was pretty adamant about it. But I mean, I understood what he was saying. But it's just, I mean, that's just, I want to find somewhere in the middle.
There's always a happy medium. Compromise is a great thing. I'll give you a perfect example. Our headquarters building where I work now, we install high resolution cameras at each corner of the building. Not only for security's sake, but they pointed a very bad intersection. It's a 30-mile-an-hour road that joins a 55-mile-an-hour road. And there's a stop sign and it's an angle like this. 8 out of 10 cars don't bother to stop. And we've had some fatal accidents there. So we've parked our marked car in the parking lot in front of our building with the lights on. And people run through the stop sign, they get a ticket, and then they say they stopped. Well, I have a camera in a high res that can read your license plate and see the person inside. So it's a double-edged sword. I personally think it has value. Anyone else?
Rich, can you also
Sure.
talk to everybody about weapons and weapon procurement and what
Oh, sure.
sort of what that looks like?
So. Many years ago, I owned a sporting goods store. So I did that when I retired for a little while. Don't do it, I don't recommend it. I had a sign behind me that said, prices vary according to customer attitude. To give you an idea what these folks do. So other side of the river, nobody here. So right now, probably the most useful tool, if you have to use force of any kind, past your voice, which is the most important one, is a taser. Non-lethal is a wonderful thing. Having the training to use it, even better. So when you're talking about weapon systems, you've got a stick, which pretty much everybody's gonna have a stick. You're going to have pepper spray or not. Problem with pepper spray is, let's say you were assigned to the court. You're in a small room, if you pull out your pepper spray and you decide you're going to spray one person, that's not going to happen. Everyone in that room is going to be gasping and coughing and tearing up, and so it's not really the right way. I teach a court decorum class, I've done that for Rockland County for many years. There's easier ways to get people to leave the courtroom properly with some amount. Then you get into firearms. Firearms are like a hammer for a dog. Sorry. No problem. You have a question? No, okay. So firearms, a lot of agencies issue firearms. I don't think a part-time agency really wants to do that, because if that person separates from the agency, you are now a gun custodian. You have to hang on to that and safeguard it, which adds extra liability. The better way to do it is to select one or more firearm types and certify those, put them on your insurance, and then request, or actually require, each officer has to supply that firearm as well as put it on their individual firearms permits. This way, if they separate from the agency, they take their gun, there is no liability to the town of any kind. You need more?
Any questions from the board or Calvin? Oh, sure.
Did you see the grants one? There are so many.
Yeah.
I funded the reestablishment of the constabulary in my town solely with grants. I brought in, at that time, I'm talking about 2011, $880,000 in grants. Of which only about 40,000 was equipment, the rest was actual cash. To buy stuff, and we got 15% administrative. So we could actually, hire people to help us set up the paperwork and computer systems and all of that stuff. So we're gonna dot the i's and cross the t's, and we're gonna listen to the community. to tell us what you expect and what you would want for your local law enforcement.
Commissioner, did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I am sincerely concerned about profiling people because I've been profiled as one of those hippie type people. And God only knows what I have in the house, you know. And a lot of things, and I don't wanna see anybody get away with anything, because I don't think people coming in to visit should get away with stuff. But I don't think they should be singled out because they don't have the right license plate holder, or they don't have the right sticker in their window or something like that. Because that's what we had when we moved here,
Hmm.
and it was not nice.
And I couldn't agree with you more. Profiling in general, that word has bad connotations. But when you're driving in a marked police car and you see a car run a stop sign at a high rate of speed,
That's different.
you can't see who's driving. You pull them over, you walk up, and that's really all about the demeanor of the individual and your particular approach. So if you maintain a friendly demeanor and just ask your basic questions, we have a litany that we say over and over. This is why body cameras are great. You go up to the window, hi, sir, my name is whatever the officer's name is, from the town of Highland Police Constabulary. I just saw you run that stop sign, could I please have your license, your registration, your insurance information? It's not controversial, it's not cantankerous, it's just a base question. And the reaction to those questions, when asked nicely, is going to drive the encounter from that point on. If it's an immediate, well, what did I do? And is there a problem? Relax, this is a traffic ticket. And I teach verbal judo to all my officers, I make sure they know how to talk to people. A book is not led by its cover. It does not matter to me what you look like, what you're driving, anything. It's just about what that vehicle or what that individual did to attract our attention. It may be absolutely nothing. It could be a common law inquiry. Hey, how you doing today? Are you feeling okay? And they can say yes or no, and that's the end of it. So you just need to know how to deal with people. And that's the common courtesy, common sense, that's the hallmark of good law enforcement. I hope that answered your question. Okay.
Rich, I want to thank you for raising.
Nobody else.
Yeah,
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to firearms,
Yeah,
if the town requires, let's say, the constable to have a certain type of firearm,
yes,
don't they have to pay for it?
yes.
And don't they then just assume the same responsibility?
I'm not,
Liability wise.
oh, no, when they're on duty, acting in their capacity, then they are covered regardless of the origin of the equipment. In fact, in their personnel jacket, it will have the serial number caliber, all the pertinent information.
Understood, but is there really much of a difference if the town is paying for it anyway?
It's an after the fact. If the town is not paying, no, the individual officers would be paying.
If you're saying you have to have a 38 cent,
Sure. Then you have to
the
have. it.
town does
You've got
not
to-
pay for it.
No. They will have a list of approved firearms, and they will be responsible for bringing that firearm to you.
Understood, but does the town pay for it? That's what I mean,
No,
it's not an allowance.
no. We can always talk,
They buy the whole
It's
one.
free.
yeah, you can always talk about uniform allowances and things of that nature, once it gets to the budget season. And I've been preparing a budget for 15 years for this agency and more for other agencies. I go down to paper clips. I want to know exactly how many dollars we're spending, and I have never been off. I'm usually way low, if any, way high rather. We don't spend a lot of money, and it's a good thing. Get the most bang for your buck.
But Nancy, just to answer your question too, and Rich can speak to this as well. There's programs that I've been looking at when we talked about this from, from the beginning of 2024. I reached out to the USDA because they had a specific program for the reestablishment of constabularies and small police departments. And there's individual programs for officers. So if somebody was really looking to be like a police, like a peace officer or a constable, They would be able to apply directly for some funding if they wanted a weapon, if it was like a financial concern that was preventing them and they were really qualified. There are individual programs out there like that, but somebody again could register their own firearms.
There's also some of the bigger expenses in bulletproof vests. There are the JEDEC bill as well as the Department of Justice have BVP, bulletproof vest partnership. Every year we put in for it, because our mean income is below a certain threshold, there's no matching funds. And we typically get about $392 per officer to update their vests, because they're only good for about 7 years. So that money would go to the individual officer as a uniform allowance, and we as the chief and the board would make a decision as to which vest from the suppliers. We have to go to specific suppliers because it's the federal government. We pick that one, and if there's any additional funding necessary, we figure out how to match that. Typically not, back in the day, $1,200 to $1,600 for a good vest was normal. Now, $300 or $400 will cover a good vest. You must carry, you must wear a vest that will stop the bullet you're carrying. Because every single call you go to involves a gun, the one you have. Even if you never ever draw it, somebody else might want to. So you just have to be careful.
Okay, thank you again for coming here today and. Yes, I did want to remind the public too, this Thursday, at 6 p.m. in Heroes Park. We will be holding our 9/11 memorial commemoration, again at 6 p.m. with local clergy. We have some special musicians coming to commemorate the day with everybody. I hope you can join us, and there'll be a reception to follow in Town Hall. With that, I would like to introduce Assemblywoman Paula Kay and Chris Dickey to the community. Chris, do you want to start off, and then maybe Paula can join you for a special announcement?
Sure.
All right.
It's really about, we gotta get.
Yeah, you gotta shake hands by the podium yourself.
All right. And we're on Zoom?
Yeah, yes, you are. You're speaking to the town of Highland.
Well.
7 people.
2,790 people are watching.
Seven. All right, we came to you, I think it must have been about four or 5 months ago, we came to you with the proposal that we'd like to try to rebuild access to health services here in the town of Highland, which have been missing since the death of Dr. DePool. And so we decided at that time that we were going to make this a community-led initiative, sort of like we're talking about the constabulary. We thought that having it come from the community would be something to ensure that it would be sustainable and really meet the needs of the people that live here. And I'm very grateful to all of you that talk to my students, that have talked to me, that come to our listening session that we had in July. And I'm also very, very grateful to Kathy DePool, who has agreed to make sure that the facility is something that's available to us so that we can respond to those needs by starting to build in services that can start to meet what you're asking for. We're still negotiating with a number of providers, including NYU, possibly Garnett, to be able to provide services for you so that we can attach clinical services to what we're doing. It's growing very, very rapidly. I'm very grateful for the partnership with Assemblywoman Kay, because it's really been an incredible partnership from the very beginning. I'm also grateful for the partnership with Sullivan and Navy that teamed it up. Okay.
It does.
Can you just briefly touch on the partnership with Sullivan 180?
Yes, we got a grant from the New York Health Foundation, which had not been given, maybe one other grant in Sullivan County, but they really liked the idea of having a community-driven, community-focused health access project. So they offered us $100,000 to be able to hire people to keep talking to you and to build a sustainable model. Once we told them we were considering partnering with Sullivan 180, they increased that amount so that they could fund some effort by Sullivan 180 to be more of a partner than just sort of a pass-through agency. And so Sullivan 180 and Denise Franzicani, and I'm sure you know many of the people there, have been with us on every step as well. So I talk to them very frequently, and they've just been incredible partners introducing us to people and in helping to arrange the that we're doing right now. So.
Great, thank you so much. Follow.
So with that being said, what I would love to announce tonight is that in order to help facilitate the rehabilitation of the building for this community medical center, I have secured the funding, $100,000 to rehabilitate that building, so that you can get started on the great work that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
And also, if I could, for a minute, talk about an event that we're doing.
Yes, please.
That's
Yes.
okay. So, also somewhat healthcare based, so we are coming to your senior center, my offices, to do. We're doing it here, we're doing it here. So we're coming here on October 28th, from 4 to 6 p.m. We're gonna do constituent hours, so if anybody has any issues with state agencies or benefits or anything like that, you can come, I will have staff there. We also have the state controller's office, attending from 4 to 6, to do another unclaimed funds event, so if you think, even if you don't think you have state money, you have no idea, they can check and see if you have money. We've done a couple of these events so far, and people have been really surprised, and I know a lot of people have already gotten their funds from the state. So they will be here, and also Garnett is coming, they're bringing a resident and I believe an RN to do a know your numbers, so people can get information about their healthcare. And the idea is, we wanted to sort of bring everybody together, and you can sort of go table to table and get a lot of really good information. You know, in a 2-hour period, we hope to see a lot of people and bring my office to the western part of the county, bring it here and just be a friendly face, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris Dickey, who's been working tirelessly on this project. He came to me, I think, once when I was elected in 2024 and said, hey, my wife and I would like to retire here, but we're not super confident about the healthcare systems in this town. And I said, well, let's pound pavement, let's see what we can come up with. And very soon we saw, like, especially with the ever evolving federal cycles of money and all the different disparities with healthcare, people really leapt to the idea, and we started to talk to the community about their needs. So some of the areas of focus that we've really been concentrating on are like prenatal care, because we want to build families in our town and keep our school filled. So, and that's a big deal for a lot of young parents, that they, can maybe get into the Port Jervis pediatrics or maybe Harris, but it's pretty far and wide where you have to travel to get pediatric care. Also, veterans care is a definite focus, because right now they, which we've experienced with different community members, have to travel a great distance, and oftentimes vets don't have access to transportation, or are exhausted by the extreme travel. So that's something we're really focused on, but also just to be a sort of catch-all. I can speak for myself. I had a hip surgery last year, and I had to go to 8 appointments in order to connect to my healthcare system at NYU. That was to get everything from blood panels to EKGs to all the basic things that you can cover in sort of community catch-all clinic. So these are some of the things we're focused on, like bigger picture things. Chris and I talked about, like creating a prescription drug pickup for maybe the top SKUs of what people's medicines are, or maybe partnering with a local retailer like PEX or Dollar General to see if they can help us out with some of those services. So we really do want all of your input. And that leads me to that postcard. Can you grab that behind me, Laura? I don't know if everybody received that big white postcard in the mail, but it's very, very important. It's our 10-year comprehensive plan. And Chris and his team have put about 8 questions towards the end of the survey about healthcare relative to this. So we really want everybody's opinions and what your needs are and what your current experience is to inform some of these survey questions. And we really are taking these seriously. Like, we're looking at a lot of the things like the ballot proposition for the constabulary. We're asking these questions on the comprehensive plan to just sort of get a feeler for where everybody's at and where our commonalities are. And you'd be surprised, especially after attending some of these meetings, that the community is a lot more together, and we really do have a shared vision for what we want the next 10 years to look like. So I'm really happy to everybody to participate. We want to hear from you. There's a lot of places where you have a blank slate to sort of share your opinions and your suggestions. So please grab that. If you didn't receive it in the mail, the clerk's office is passing out the surveys that you can just fill out manually, or you can just take a picture of the QR code and do it on your phone, or you can get the link off of website, and that also goes to the same survey, and that'll save Melissa, who's our comp plan deputy, a lot of input time. So if you could use the QR code, great. If not, she'll enter all your responses, but thank you. And please
Is there an
make sure
end
to-
date?
Pardon?
Is there an end date for filling out the survey?
Yeah, so the comprehensive plan committee is going to meet at the end of September to sort of see where we're at with results. I've been talking to a lot of other supervisors in Sullivan County who are kind of in this comp plan state. We don't want any special interest to sort of overtake it, so we don't want to go really far and wide with posters, because they, like in Bethel, for instance, they were finding there was very skewed results for a certain agenda that people were trying to accomplish that were probably not community members. So we really want to keep it, tight to our community, but we want to hear from you at the same time. So if you can get on it and get there by month's end, we could probably call it once we get a pretty decent showing in population. So please share your thoughts, and we'll be in touch with the concrete end date, and we'll start to compile where some of those changes need to occur. Like some of the hot button issues are obviously short-term rentals. We're getting a lot of feedback about the constabulary. We're getting a lot of feedback about a moratorium for larger projects of a certain scale. We're getting a lot of feedback about. So these are the sort of things that you really do have a lot of input in. We do want to hear from you, because what we find in our comprehensive plan is what will go to write the code as we move forward. So when we identify areas where people come together and say, hey, this needs to change, those are the things the comp plan board will review and look to change in our codes and in our laws and local laws. So please fill those out whenever you get a chance. And thank you both again. Thank you to Paula and to Chris for coming tonight, and thanks for all your hard work. And the other guy, our Senator Oberacher, is coming to town to tour the facility on September 16th. So we're hoping that maybe the New York Senate has some offerings as well. Paul's in the majority, so she gets the majority of funding appropriations at this point, but they're very curious. One of Senator Oberacher's main objectives is he's a big advocate of pediatric care within the school district. So I've already met with our superintendent about what that could potentially look like. She had suggested maybe a transportation piece to get our kids to the facility in Berryville, like that maybe the school could be the conduit for that. And then we've also talked to New Hope, because there's a lot of new families that are being born every day, and women that need prenatal care, so that can cement some other directions for what we do with the clinic as well. So we've really reached far and wide, and I thank you to Chris and his team at NYU. I mean, they've been calling residents. They hosted the Senior and Community Center open house, got a lot of feedback, and people have really been sharing their stories, and it's very, very helpful to inform the whole process. And like Chris has said many times over, we want to get this right from the top. You kind of have one shot, especially in a small town, to get something right, and we want to make sure that we're doing right by everybody. So please continue to share your thoughts and opinions, and grab Chris whenever you see him around town. So thank you for that. Yes. Let's see, so.
This week.
Our school tax collection has already began as of last Friday. So school tax collection began on September 5th, and it's from 9 to 12 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays right here in Town Hall. And I also wanted to let the public know that Canadian goose season has begun. We've already gotten a lot of calls about shots heard around the river. I don't know if you guys have ever been rafting while Canadian goose season is going on. There's people in the trenches and waiters with guns pointed at your raft, as you know why it's a little intimidating. We've got some calls from the National Park Service, from the DEC, to residents on River Road, because they're probably the closest. They're about less than 500 feet, which is, it's a very precarious situation for those folks. So I'm sorry to all the residents on River Road, because the river actually, from where they stand and where they shoot, is less than 500 feet away, which is the restriction, so it is very precarious, so please be careful out there. It's one of the hallmarks of our community, obviously, the traditional uses is hunting, rafting, fishing, all the things. We want everybody to have quiet enjoyment of all those things, but just keep your eyes on what's about you if you're gonna be on or around the river at this time, and it goes through September 25th. And then I believe that duck hunting season begins on October 1st as well, so just keep an eye out when you're on the river. We talked about it at the last meeting and have confirmed that we established a committee to remedy the financials based on the Bonadio report. At the October meeting, the remedy committee will have met and looked at all the data that's being provided, and we'll be providing recommendations as a committee at the October meeting. Relative to that, there was an incident that occurred last Thursday, and there's been some letters and feedback on there. Those will be posted online. We're sparing the public's attention at this point. I wanted to thank Bubba Fountain and TC Energy. He was able to secure a grant from TC Energy to take down the veterans banners in November and then put them back up in May. So we're very grateful to them. This is also, not only is this going to provide like the security of like the veterans banners and storage, but it's also, we're able to partner with the Berryville Chamber of Commerce for all the welcome banners down 97. So we're going to do this a shared service with the lift, and two of our seasoned highway guys, Rob Robinson and Tyson Denlinger, have volunteered to go up in the bucket and adjust those flags on behalf of the chamber on an off work day. And then they'll be taking the flags down after Veterans Day. And I think it's November 11th. Yeah, November 11th. So after that, the flag will come down for the season. And we thank you again to Bubba and to TC Energy for that funding source. Is Pete Carlucci in the building? Okay. Joe Barnes. Is Joe Barnes? I know he's in the building. Give it to us. I would.
Okay. Since our August 12th meeting, guys have been out ditching Smith Hughes Road. We're preparing to pave the lower end of it. A joint effort with the town of Huston. We've cut trees and brush at the intersection of Dry Brook Road and York Lake Road for visibility down the hill. True and leveled, which is leveling the blacktop on Woods Road. We finished the roadside mowing. Patched corkscrew, been sealing and blacktopping. Sealing is the oil and chips. Today the guys were assisting Huston, doing some blacktopping with them. We swept all the roads that were sealed, the excess stone off of them. The generator has been installed, it has not been run yet. The new pickup was delivered today. And the senior center entrance, we're gonna work on the end of this week, Thursday, we're gonna start on that.
Okay. Great, thank you, Joe. Thanks for everyone. Let's see. Grants committee, Laura, can you just give us an update on the senior community center grant?
Sure. We're in the process of submitting all receipts, estimates of what was spent to upgrade the senior and community center for review to the state, and essentially they kind of go line by line and talk about what was spent where. We have to reach $50,000, and we're negotiating with them. They had asked for a few more details, but we have the bulk of it finished. And so we're expecting a reimbursement of $50,000 to cover those costs in the next probably month or so. So I consider that project done, like no more spending, please. Thank you, everybody. We have gotten almost to the dollar for $50,000, including labor and upgrades, the UV filters, and it's been an incredible transformation there, including, of course, the kitchen. And
yeah, and if you guys get a chance and you see some cars in the seniors and community center parking lot, make sure to stop and just check it out. We're really excited about it. It makes it a lot more rentable, but it also just creates a really fresh for everybody, and hopefully we'll have inspired community gatherings for a long time afterwards. There's a full commercial kitchen, and we were able to get the health department to sign off on that. We're now compliant for the first time in a long time, which is really exciting. We have our UV system up and running, thanks to Mike Kidney. We also have Larry Fry working on a lot of the installation of sinks and dishwashers, and Tom Legurano really kind of project managed the whole thing. So thank you very much for all your hard work on it. It's been a labor of love, and we're really excited about it. I just wanted to give everybody a quick grants project update. And the reason this is important is because, you know, we're looking at the insurance costs that are rising at a really expedient rate going into 2026. A lot of the federal cuts are really affecting like municipal insurance. And so we're really focused on our grant projects because our buildings department takes up so much of the budget. So we're able to replace a lot of like the building budgets with a lot of the infrastructure needs of our community with our grant program. So our current grants that we're working on are $250,000 renovation of our Justice Court, paid entirely by a SAM grant awarded by former Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther. $100,000 SAM grant from Assemblywoman Paula Kay for the Highland Health Initiative. $75,000 upgrade to Town Hall for technology, kitchen and conference room and public hall space, paid entirely for a SAM grant awarded by former Assemblywoman Aileen Gunther. We just found out last Thursday that we were awarded a $25,000 Rust grant for removing unsafe structures from Sullivan County Legislature for the 564 Route 55 purchase. $10,000 from NYSERDA for heating and AC energy efficient units. $5,000 from Sullivan County Youth Bureau for intramural sports programming that'll be coming this fall. Completed projects include the $50,000 Senior and Community Center commercial kitchen that Laura mentioned, $100,000 River Access Project awarded by Sullivan 180, $9,900 from Sullivan County Youth Bureau for our community meal program paid to local vendors, Montesleum Gardens and Peck's Market, as well as the summer camp youth program Koinonia. Pending applications include $1.3 million for shared community recreation center with the Eldred Central School District adjacent to Town Hall at the 564 lot. And we also secured wayfinding song grants. So we're hovering around $650,000 in grants that we've already acquired and expenditures for the infrastructure for our town and community programming. And we have another roughly around 1.37 million in grant fund applications. So that's that BRICS grant for 1.3. And then Sullivan County Visitors Association is taking the real lead for us. They have a new director, and we approached them about just the rent procurement for the space that Dr. DeBoer used to occupy to get the Highland Health Initiative off the ground. Their new executive director, Michael, is very, very, very excited about this project and sees healthcare is a sort of attraction to visiting a community, especially for aging populations or new families or anybody that expects a normal health experience should the occasion arise when they're visiting. So he's approaching the board. Full disclosure, I'm on the board, but I'm gonna have to recuse myself for about $70,000 to secure the first year of rent for that facility. And then we think with medical billing that we'll be able to catch up and have it be a self-sustaining program. And then also obviously to help with Paula Kay's office. So we're really excited about that. And thank you so much to Laura for helping with all the applications. Applying for grants, like Joe Milan will tell you, it's great when you get a grant, but it's congratulations, you got a grant. Now you have to deal with the grant. It's sort of a double-edged sword. It's like a real yin and yang when you get something because it's so much extra paperwork, extra login, tax clerk's office for all the updated systems, the access system updates on a weekly basis. We have to call all over Albany to get into that. So thank you to everybody for your efforts, but it's paying off and it's really exciting. Can we get a report from Tom and Sonia on buildings?
You reported on the senior center, where we stand at that point, we're just about complete, a little bit of touch up and paint. We're gonna start this project soon in the whole, the town hall. And we have some small things going on, some electrical upgrades, generator was completed.
Where did the courthouse bids?
Courthouse bids, you're the last one who spoke to.
Okay, so yeah, Ty came in business for coffee the other day. We're having trouble finding a mason. So if anybody knows any masons, we really are extending that out in a big way. The stucco on the outside of the courthouse is one of our major issues. remediating that and still keeping the historic character of the building is really important, and we're really focusing with the courthouse, obviously, to end Patty's ongoing snake problem at the courthouse, because that's just uncalled for. But we're also, you know, obviously taking care of the roof, the floors, the floor joists, a sub pump for the basement. Like, we're really focused on like the infrastructure to keep the building there. It's a very old building, and we want to keep it in good shape and have it be sustainable, especially if the constabulary moves into that building. So we're really looking to make major headway with that, and Ty's really excited about it, and he has access to a lot of different vendors, from plumbers to other people. But you know, honestly, if anybody has any masonry contacts, please see Tom or Sonia and let them know who those people may be.
Just to note, it's just not a mason, they have to be knowledgeable in the stucco. This old stucco has to be removed and the new stucco has to be replaced. So it's a process and they have to be knowledgeable. Please reach out if someone interested.
Yeah, and an update to Patty's snake problem. This gentleman from Coshocton just stopped by the court the other day and said, "I love snakes, so call me," and gave him gave Patty his number. He loves dealing with copperheads and other poisonous snakes. He's a total maniac, in my opinion. I hate snakes, but he's offered Patty his services, and so he said he can be there within 25 minutes. He's probably going to be picked up very soon by our constabulary program. Should be restructured, but yeah, it is a problem. I mean, it's embarrassing that we have people coming into court for all kinds of reasons, and Patty gets the purview of a horror movie erupting behind them every time they approach the bench. So we really want to focus on that and we're trying to get that done. That's probably the first piece that we're trying to get done before the cold weather sets in, if we can get the bids going. At this time, I would like to see if I have a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing pending litigation. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any extensions? It's now,
No, it's not that,
It's now week 24. Do I have a motion to return from executive session?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Sonia and then.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions? So moved. No money was spent during our executive sessions and no actions were directly taken. But I would like to ask the board, do I have a motion authorizing commencement of enforcement proceedings against Sigler Park Lane LLC?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. No, I got my packet in there. I'll be right back. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, at this time, Sue is going to read the correspondence.
This is for the Highland Ambulance report for August 2025. 43 total dispatches, 5 canceled calls, 1 missed call, 97.6% response rate, 387 total man hours, 1 training session, 15 man hours. Hewlin Fire Department for the month of August 2025. Emergency calls 11, drills 5, meeting/training 2, miscellaneous 2, total event hours for August was 20. I have a correspondence from Andrew Boyer.
That was for the board and invited this first.
Mr. Boyer asked me to read it in correspondence.
We're not going to read that. Pardon? We can place the letter online. Thank you.
Also read it.
No, we can place the letter online. We're skipping correspondence like we did if there was other things about the case on Thursday. I mean, we could go full tilt, but we decided to put the letters online so the public can access everything online.
So this will go online.
Yes, this will go online.
Yeah.
Because there's discretion. Yes, yes. No. You're not a lawyer. We have a lawyer.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on.
Take
Take
you very much.
Take it to the next agenda item.
We also, because of the nature of our meeting today with our special guests. We also missed, there's a workplace violence and harassment and discrimination training seminar on September 18th. Lori King sent this around to all department heads. I would like to make it a mandatory motion for all employees of the town hall to attend this workshop. I think it's very poignant for what's going on right now, and I think that everybody that is an employee of town hall in any capacity should be taking this. So I would like to see if I have a motion.
Hold on, can we discuss?
Sure.
Because I've already completed training.
This isn't for sexual harassment. This is for workplace violence harassment.
I have completed that training and I've submitted my certificate. I do it February every year.
I've also that have done.
Yeah, I've done my sexual harassment and
Right, and these incident have done it, like Joe Milan has done it, and Terry Fountain has done it. So they just need to bring me their certificates.
exactly. But yes, everybody should attend this actual program. Lori found this one because she thought it was especially. We sent it to her.
We're already required to do it, so if you include language in your motion, I would like maybe to say like the people who have not completed theirs yet for the
Sure.
year.
Class being held.
Online.
It's an online.
It's a 2-hour harassment and discrimination is from 9 to 10, and then from 10 to 11 is workplace violence prevention. And it's September 18th. It's a webinar given by New York State. So yes, do I have a motion to require all employees who have not already completed their workplace violence and harassment and discrimination training to attend the September 18th training? Do I have that motion?
I mean, I have a hard time passing that motion because if you can't attend on the 18th, there should be an option for taking a similar or another online course at your own leisure or in your own time. There's a lot of volunteers here. There's a lot of,
No, this would be for employees.
okay, but if the 18th isn't available to them, on their calendar,
It's via NYMER, and so we also have. I believe that they have the recordings.
I just don't think you want to include the exact date of September 18th in your motion.
Mhm.
I think you'd want to say, complete this training.
So we should, why don't we give everybody a month to complete the training, so we can say by October 1st, everybody who's not completed this training.
Or equivalent, yeah.
Because we also have it, NYMER offers it, but also the New York State Controller's Office.
And
Yes,
so like, if you can't attend that one, take one, it's equivalent, you know?
yes, okay, so do I have a motion for anybody who has not completed the workplace violence and harassment and discrimination training webinar? To complete it by October 1st for all employees in town.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Opposed.
Okay. We have a resolution, the town board, the town of Highland at the board meeting on September 9th, 2025 did introduce and pass the following resolution. Whereas modifications are required to the 2025 general budget, now therefore be it resolved that the following budgetary transfers be made to the 2025 general budget from A 960 appropriations, A 1620.4 buildings, contractual, 80,337.31, A 3620.1 safety inspections, 97.76, to 960 appropriations, A 1010.4 town board contractual, $200, A 1320.4 auditor contractual, A 1680.4 data processing contractual, A 3310.4 traffic control contractual, A 3620.4 safety inspection, A 9015.8 BFIS fireman pension, 30,771.56 for a total of $86,735.07. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention.
Thank you, Tom. So moved. Upstairs. Oh, I didn't think mine's 2 seconds. Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion to pay abstract number 9-2025 claims number 264 through 294 in the amount of $33,479.82?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed.
Any abstentions?
No, abstention.
You're abstaining.
Yeah, abstain. Thank you, Tom. So moved. So I have a motion to pay highway abstract number 9-2025 claims 81 through 92 in the amount of $148,573.95. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention.
Thank you. So moved. So I have a motion to pay Silver Feather Grant 7-2025 claims 5 through 7 in the amount of $2,276.26.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention.
So moved. Do I have a motion to pay Eldred Streetlights number 8-2025 claim 8 in the amount of $138.19?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Tom, do you want to explain to anybody why you abstained from all of these?
I haven't had time to review the bills.
Thank you,
That's
Vince.
the only reason.
I appreciate the clarity there. Is there any public comment? Yes,
I'm assuming Bell's Party Highland Lake, I'm assuming since there are no additional payments to Bonadio and a completed report is available for everyone, that is done with. Why does the town clerk not have her computer back?
thank you for your comment. Any other comments? Okay,
I do have a comment.
sure. Yes,
Wally, thank you for your comments and non-responsive answers are quite contrary to your pledge for transparency and inclusion. That's not being very transparent with all you say you thank you for your comment.
can you define?
I'm sure, but you respond to everyone else's comments when it suits you.
So could you respond to what public comment is by definition?
Public comment is an opportunity for the public to provide the board comment for its consideration, not a question and answer session, there's,
That's great, as long as he does that.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments?
Well, I didn't finish, I still have time in 2 minutes. I didn't finish. That's great as long as he does it all the time, so Jeff, I ask you to hold him to the line on that, because sometimes he'll turn it into a question and answer. If somebody he likes, or somebody that agrees with him asks a question.
There's a.
So let's have it, no responses, that this is.
No, you don't.
Let's say thank you for your comment.
Well, now I'm gonna comment back to respond to what you're claiming. There's a history of a certain member or certain members of the public that come in and completely misrepresent what goes on.
Not interruption, this is.
They record meetings, they edit clips, and they actually act outside of the Board of Elections. If you're a candidate for public office, you're supposed to call yourself a candidate. You don't hide behind a mask. You don't use community pages and have specials and then tell the public.
And
That's
I
actually
want to
illegal.
raise.
But I don't have time to go after the ridiculous misleading of the public that you continue to do.
John, nobody's
So
been
we're
more
not going to
misleading than
honor
you.
anything that you're doing because
Nobody
it's
has been
misleading.
more
Because
misleading
it's all
than you.
gonna erupt into a video for your very skewed public order where you block people and use it as a.
Spring. Agree some order.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to, do I have a?
Second.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody.